Greetings, fellow captains, and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships with the Hivehound. And today we've got some big, exciting news. The latest patch notes have now officially been released. So, after biting my lip for the last 24 hours, I can finally talk about it. So this is the first of the summer set of updates, and it's going to bring something for everyone. First of all, as we already know, we've already been told that we're getting the light cruiser branch of the United States Navy fleet. We also have some new bureau projects coming up. Some new ship commanders inspired by the Warhammer 40,000 universe, which was announced a while back, but now we're actually getting it. They're coming out in this patch. We have the cross-platform voice chat, so you're able to deploy your saltiness across all consoles now. That is definitely going to be interesting over the first couple of weeks. I'm definitely going to be going into game chat and paying attention to what's going on there. There's been a couple of big balance changes to some of the ships, which we'll dive into. And we're going back to the New York port, but this time it's going to be all dressed up, ready for Independence Day celebrations. And there is a little Easter egg in there. So pay attention to that and see who spots it first. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is the new campaign. We are getting the Lone Veteran. So the new campaign, obviously with Independence Day coming up and the new American ship lines, it is going to be an American ship. It is going to be the Tier 7 heavy cruiser, the Wichita. It's a unique ship, so it's not going to be directly... it's not going to be like the Baltimore. So it's going to be something a little bit different. It's going to be quite heavily armoured, so you're going to be able to angle against battleships and be a bit more aggressive. And the ballistic firing arcs are significantly different from the current United States Navy cruiser. So that is something that you're going to want to be mindful of, paying attention to at least. Along with campaign, they're going to have crates. So we're going to have early access crates for the Tier 5 Dallas, the Tier 7 Helena, which are going to be the two of the three new light cruiser line that we're getting for this update. And there's also a chance that it'll drop the premium Tier 6 Boise. So same thing as always, you're going to get the campaign crates, there's going to be the big crates. The big crates are going to have more chance to drop the ships. But other than that, there's not much else to talk about. In the containers, there will be red, white and blue expendable camouflages to adorn on your United States ships. And they have confirmed that the Tier 7, which won't be available until the end of this update, is in fact going to be the United States Navy Cleveland. So that'll be unlocked when the next patch is released after this campaign is over. So the usual, without Admiralty backing, you'll get a bunch of boosters, rare boosters, a bunch of camos, some free global commanders, XP, some credits. There's 12 promotion orders in this campaign, an insignia, a commendation, 5 small USN crates, 1 big USN crate, an American commander crate, 7 days of premium. The new currency, Liberty bonds, you'll get 900 of them from the campaign without Admiralty backing, 125 doubloons, and a new background patch and symbol. But the big thing is, when you take out the Admiralty backing, obviously you're going to get the Wichita itself at the end. There's going to be an additional 625 doubloons, 14,050 Liberty bonds, 2 insignias, another 23 promotion orders, 16,000 global XP, 1.2 million credits, and the typical, you get more rare and epic boosters, more of the usable camouflages. In total, if you bought the Admiralty stuff separately, it would be 74,283 doubloons, which is a slightly random number, but we'll take it. So, on to the big Bureau update. Yes, there is going to be a new Bureau project that's going to feature 8 separate segments, and basically what you're going to get is permanent red, white and blue, the Star-Spangled Banner camos for some of your American ships. So these are going to include segment 1. I'll go through the segments. Segment 1 is going to be the camo for the Pensacola. Segment 2, New Orleans. 3, Baltimore. 4 is going to unlock the Dallas camo. These are permanent camos, by the way. 5 is going to be the Helena. 6 is going to be the Cleveland. 7 is going to give it to you for the Iowa. And 8 is actually not going to give you a camo. It is, in fact, going to give you the Tier 5 premium battleship, the USN California. So that's right. That's another new ship coming. So that's 3 confirmed so far already in this patch notes. Not bad at all. You're now also going to be able to add commanders to your to the Patreon section in your Bureau campaigns. There are some limits. In the early segments, they have to be at least Tier 4. For the higher so the segments towards the end of campaigns, you're going to need to have a rank 15 commander. So it's worth taking note into that. You might want to start saving up your promotion orders and insignias if you haven't got a commander that high just yet. There is going to be the 4th of July victory bonus for obviously the 4th of July celebrations. These will start on the 3rd and end on the 6th. And basically you get 2 camos for every Tier 3 to Tier 7 ship that you play. That American ship that you play, I should clarify that. But with the Tier 5, in addition to the 2 camos, you're going to get a basic container from the USN Command cruiser containers. And for your Tier 7s, you're going to get 2 of the basic containers as well. So that's a nice little bonus. So, on to... There's just so much content. I'm not even halfway through this document and we're already 8 minutes in. So, Warhammer 40,000 content has been confirmed. And it's coming from the particularly grim time of the 41st millennium. So we're going to have 2 new ships at our disposal, as well as 2 new commanders with memorable voiceovers and specially themed containers for Imperium and Chaos, which are the factions that are being introduced in this. So choose your side. There's the Ignis Portigello. I'm probably absolutely butchering that. Sorry, I'm not. I know what Warhammer is. I'm not a massive fan. And the Ignis Purgato, I'm going to go with that, is an Imperium battleship with Justinian Leon the 9th at her helm, or you get the choice of Ragnarok and Arthas Rakathar the Cold at the helm. So it's basically good or evil. You get to decide. So both the ships, there are new ships. They're not reskins. I say that it's a reskin. So they're based on the Nagato, but they've got some different features. So the Ragnarok, for example, is going to have a more pronounced vertical ballistic arc. So you're going to have you can have a bit of an easier time firing over islands, sort of like the American ships. It's also going to have a faster gun reload, but it is going to have a smaller hit pool than the Nagato. But it is going to be a lot more. It's going to be more nimble, more maneuverable. So it's not a reskin completely. The ship is going to have its own individual feel to it. The Ignis Portal will not have the aiming system mod, whilst the Ragnarok will. So that is something to consider when taken into account. So even each of the reskinned ships that are different anyway, both of them are going to have slightly different playstyles already. The commanders are going to have their own unique abilities. Blind Rage is going to come from Arthas, which will increase your ship's damage whilst your catapult fighter is up, but reduces the fighter's duration by up to 65%. Since cruisers can have their planes up for a long period of time, the damage boost will max out at 6%, but that's a 6% increase to your overall damage, and up to 20 on a battleship. Avatars of Slaughter is also a second unique skill, where your superstructure will receive 25% additional damage, but your citadel will receive 25% less. So on ships that have particularly weak citadels, looking at you, cruisers, you can potentially completely change how you play and go broadside all day long with that big reduction in citadel damage. And then Justinian Lyons has the Emperor of Wrath base trait, which was increase your battleship's overall damage up to 5%, as well as the chance of your HE shells to start fires whilst your repair party is active up to 40%. And that could be quite interesting. To confirm, Arthas is compatible with IGN ships, whereas Justin Leon is compatible with United States Navy ships. So that is something to take into account, because I thought that would be an awesome base trait on a British battleship, but unfortunately no. We're also going to get Celestial Blessing skill, which lowers incoming damage to your battleship by up to 50%, while your damage control party consumable is active, but at the cost of the consumable duration, which is 50% less. So, you know, if your repair party lasts 30 seconds, it's only going to last 15 of this. But if you see a big broadside coming in from a battleship, that could potentially save your life by flicking that damage control on and reducing that damage by 50%. Particularly good against destroyers as well, with torpedoes coming in, hit that quickly, and you could really save yourself some. So, as confirmed, cross-platform voice chat is coming on. So this isn't cross-platform divisions, but PlayStation and Xbox can communicate. I do just hope that you use it responsibility and we don't just go into a match and listen to a bunch of people going, all PlayStation people are potatoes and all Xbox players are useless, camping. That doesn't interest me. I'm hoping that this can bring us all a bit closer as a community, although I'm sure there are going to be some pretty funny insults flung around. The internet has its way of bringing this out in people. So on to the really important stuff. Balance changes. There's quite a lot of balance changes and tweaks coming into particularly addressing tier 7 ships. So first of all, the Chapayev's firepower is very pronounced, but whereas the Kutchazov can be easily punished, particularly by enemy battleships, the Chapayev, because it's got 30mm thick armor plating, it can tank quite a lot more. So what they're doing is reducing the plating value down to 26mm, and this will result in more battleships being able to overmatch the armor when angled. I don't think it's going to really ruin the Chapayev. All it means is you're going to have to start kiting and being a bit more maneuverable and trying to dodge incoming shells rather than just sitting there angled and firing away. So we'll see. we'll see. The Chapayev has been a bit of a nightmare ship for a lot of people. They are very strong, so I think this is actually a good balance. But it's having some slight buffs as well at the same time. The repair party cooldown has been reduced by 5 seconds from 60 to 55, but the amount of HP restored as well is going up by 16.67% specifically. So that's gonna mean, although you're gonna take more damage, you're also gonna be able to heal some more back as well. Now, this ship is something that I bring up quite a lot, and I'm really glad to see that something is being done about it. So despite the Amagi not losing much in the way of statistical success, her popularity took a big hit, and many players suggesting that her guns were way too unreliable. And they also nerfed the rudder shift time, in all fairness, is what I was more annoyed about. Like, the Amagi is an absolute monster, but when they got rid of that rudder shift time, and I feel it only got the statistical success it did because it was really hard to play that ship. So a lot of people were put off because you sail broadside to get all your guns, you get deleted. It's all about timing and map awareness, and it is a hard ship to play. So I don't think the nerfs were warranted. In all fairness, there's no potatoes like Jean Bart players backing up in the Amagi. You don't tend to see that happening very often. But so the Amagi is getting a buff. They've narrowed the dispersion eclipse of the ship, so her shell hit rate should go up by about 6.5%. So basically, they've made the guns a bit more accurate. This one I quite like. The Richelieu is receiving a 50% increase to her turret hit points. This is being done to give her a unique advantage over the Jean Bart, which has exactly the same current turrets. Both ships are known for being quite good at sniping, but the Jean Bart receives a bit more love in general because that reload booster really does make her stand out. You know, that ability to get 3 salvos off within, 25-30 seconds does make her particularly powerful if someone is dumb enough to sail broadside in front of you. But we all know the Richelieu and the Jean Bart's turret are pretty easy to take out. So to give the Richelieu that little bump to make her a bit more competitive and to take the favour away from the Jean Bart, the Richelieu's guns will now be able to withstand a lot more force to its guns. They are not going to be as easy to knock out. So over a long period of time, you're going to find the Richelieu is going to be able to do more sustained damage and have both guns working, hopefully, for the entirety of the match. So there's some other changes coming with regards to balancing. So currently there is a 25% XP bonus for premium ships, and that will no longer apply to the base XP after the battle. So essentially, if you take out 2 ships, if you take out the Warspite and the Queen Elizabeth and do everything exactly the same, absolutely identical, spot the same stuff, shoot the same things, do exactly the same amount of damage, say you get 1000 XP, the Warspite's going to end up with 1250, and the Queen Elizabeth is only going to have 1000. So that's being removed from the base experience at the end of the match. So this is going to be particularly in ranked, whereas you could have played exceptionally well in your tech tree ship, but if someone in a premium ship had not quite as good a game, that 25% bonus would have nudged you up, and you might not have lost a star. So this is good. It's nice to see that modifier being introduced. But because it's now being added post, you're also going to get an additional 30% XP bonus given after the fact. So you'll get your base stats, then there'll be a 30% bonus for a premium ship, and so on and so forth. So, short version, the only modifier you'll see in the team results page now will be your base XP plus 50% if you get a win, and your total XP then afterwards with the premium ship bonus will be visible in the economies tab only. So matchmaking has also had some tweaks, specifically destroyers in tiers 4 and 5. Higher tier experiment that they run through the last one, so worked out quite well, so they've spread the algorithm throughout the rest of the tiers. This means from this update forward, whether when you're in the battle there's no difference in no different tier divisions present, destroyers will be mirrored in the vast majority of cases. So you're gonna get, if you're in a battle, you're not going to get one destroyer on one team and 4 destroyers on the other team anymore. That is not going to happen. You should, for the majority of the time, see equal number of destroyers either side. Holy Christ, this is massive. We're on 20 minutes already. So there's a couple of miscellaneous bug fixes. Does anyone care about? We'll do it. So several ship traits have been reallocated. This is in the under the inspect tab, because some of the more questionable ones have been improved. For example, the Monarch no longer sports the nimble aim perk. Its guns are not the fastest by any means, and that has been replaced with greater heal. But obviously these traits, they're just descriptive. They don't affect the ship's performance. They're just the sort of overarching, this ship is good at this ship is bad at that. But they've been reallocated and updated and are a bit more accurate to the ships, because there's definitely some questionable ones in there at the moment. Tab titles in the menu are now underscored for improved eligibility. So basically to make them read better. Daily trials in the Bureau now have a minimum XP requirement. This means that if the battle is won but a player didn't participate, it will not count towards their trial completion. Now, I've had a little grumble about this in the past, and this is great news, because jump into AI battles, usually that's what I do, and then you see I got my first loss because 3 ships just went in and left. And they're doing it because they can't be bothered to play an AI battle to get their Bureau. So this is ideal. This is perfect. You have to play. It's AI. It takes 5 minutes to win a game. Stop being so lazy. And actually, don't pay any attention to me if you're one of those lazy people. It'd be quite funny to see you ranting on the forums going, oh, we won in AI, but why didn't it count towards my Bureau? I cannot wait to see all those comments. I am going to be laughing my arse off. So I'm looking forward. I am actually looking forward to that. I'm just gonna start posting giggly memes. So in the previous update, big containers could drop duplicate ships, and they were compensated for their full doubloon price. From now on, there will be no duplicates in the containers. So whereas you can get the Argyle, the Mutsu, and the Indianapolis out of the current crates, if you've got the Indianapolis and they give you the Indianapolis, you get 12,500 doubloons. That won't happen. You just won't get the Indianapolis. You'll get something else. So it could be random stuff or maybe a different ship. Personal missions, such as those that came with the Soviet battleships, could erroneously be obtained twice, yet only completed once. The correct behaviour for them is single use. So that has been updated, so the personal missions have been adjusted slightly. In case where multiple campaigns per update, if a player in the campaign menu... Hang on, bear with me a second. That doesn't make sense. I'm probably misreading that. It's been a very long day. Something about the back button flashing when players check the mission progress from the battle results screen. Who cares? When you unlock a researchable ship, i.e. Claude into Valkyrie, the cursor points up. Didn't fill with colour. Now that's going to fill with colour. yeah, that's about it. There's just a couple of minor rare bug fixes. But there are also, so we've already confirmed there's the Dallas, the Helena are coming, the Wichita, Wichita, word salad is coming. So there's three. Then you've got, all right, okay. So there is two Warhammer ships, but you're going to get the choice of one. So call that four. We won't count the one that you can't obtain because of the side you've picked. But also there are some more premium ships. So we're going to get the Tier 5 USS Mogahan available for doubloons. The Tier 6 USS Flint available for doubloons. And this one I'm a little bit upset about because the Atlanta was by far the hardest ship ever to obtain through the campaign if you didn't just buy it out. That was a really rough campaign. But it is now going to be on sale and available for 500,000 global XP. So, alright, okay, yeah, people can buy it, but I don't think too many people convert global XP because it's quite expensive. So they're not going to be complete noobs, but for those of you who missed out on the USS Atlanta, you will now be able to get it. And one thing I forgot to mention, and it's worth bringing up now. With the Lone Wolf campaign, to get the Wichita, it's a 5-week long campaign, but they are adding some particularly difficult missions in the shakedown trials. Now, these missions, you don't have to do them. The hard missions that we're going to see that are going to gain you some extra renown. All they're going to do is let you complete the campaign a week early. So if you can't do the super hard missions at the end, that's fine. It's not a problem. If you can progress a little bit faster and get yourself the Wichita a week before everyone else who isn't able to complete them. So, what a massive update. This is colossal. I've got to try and find footage now to sort of... There's just going to be random battles going on in the background of this because this is 27 minutes just going through the patch notes. That's how colossally huge this update is. And I'm, for the most part, apart from selling the Atlanta, I'm super excited about it. So I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, this will be done as a premiere, so I will be in the chat all the way through. So thank you for those of you who turned up and who are in the chat. I'm assuming that anyone's going to turn up here. Hopefully there will be, and I don't look like an absolute ass clown now. And for anyone else afterwards, obviously, pop your thoughts in the comment. I'm usually pretty good. I try my best to reply to most of them. So thank you for sitting with me, listening to me waffle through this absolutely massive document on the update. And, well, until next time, take care.